Thada Adel Acquisitor. Now, not a common deck that you see, but I wanted to make a mono blue deck, and there's so many other decks out there that are mono blue, but nothing just jumped at me, and Thada was the one that somehow did it for me. So with the Island Walk, just naturally a nice ability, and Merfolk. So I didn't focus on these two too much, except for the Island Walk a little bit, as it allows her ability to work quite well. So whenever she attacks or deals common damage to a player, search that player's library for an artifact card, exile it, and then then they shuffle their library. But until end of turn, I might play that card. So I put a lot of artifacts in here. I purposely didn't add a lot of the combo pieces because I wanted to keep it a bit more free and open, and decide whether or not that I want to search someone's deck and find a combo piece out of their deck to add to mine. Now, this deck has a lot of weird bits and shenanigans and other things to go on. So we've got a few counter spells, Rift, because it's blue, and you can't play blue without playing those, I guess. Each to their own, but I thought I just need to throw them in. Now, I think I'll start off and... Oh, I've moved that. I had a different category. Sorcery, I'll just go through the sections here. So we have Acquire. Search target opponent's library for an artifact. Put that card into play under your control, then that player shuffles his or her library. So I have a lot of this kind of stuff like stealing and copying. And it's fantastic. Put a flood counter on a target land, so if someone's not playing blue, then you can create a island on their side, which means we can get through unblocked and search the library. It also means that you can sort of search through and see what other cards that they have in their deck, as well as you're searching for that artifact. Just a bit of returning here, Burrow's Expertise, Expropriate, just a bit of a cheeky card there. One with Machine, draw cards equal to the highest converted mana cost among artifacts you can control. Now look, some of these artifacts can get quite expensive. Right of Replication, put a token copy into the battlefield that's a copy of target creature. If Right of Replication was kicked, put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield instead. Now, there are a couple of cards out here that works fantastically with. Now, Plea for Power, I like these sort of political things where everyone sort of gets to vote and has a say in something, because it gets everyone involved. Apart from that, sorcery cards, some of them are really good, juicy, and they do fantastic work. I do like them. Now, lands is always optional in what you want to choose. I've got 22 islands and then a bunch of decent stuff. Return an artifact card, fantastic. An artifact land, Inventor's Fair is always amazing in this. Reliquary Tower, just because there's a chance that I'm going to end up with a lot of cards in hand. But yeah, look, more artifact lands. That's really it. A little bit of land destruction is always okay, but nothing too crazy. Now, our creature base. We'll start at the bottom here. We do have a couple of Eldrazi's thrown in. Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana cost. Your opponents can't block with creatures with even converted mana cost. I've got a few cards in that have, that I just describe as shenanigans, and this is just one. It's just something a little bit different, just to throw in, just to give a bit of flavour to the deck. This is by all means not a competitive deck. It's more of a casual fun deck that can hold its own quite well, and it actually has performed quite well when I've been playing it in paper. I've got the mages that you can go searching for artifacts, fantastic. Leviathan, Island Walk, so I do have a few cards that have the Island Walk. All lands are islands in addition to the other top-ups. Creatures without flying or Island Walk can't attack. Big cost card, and with all these artifacts that we're stealing from other people, there's a high chance that we can cast this pretty early on too. Ooh. Soul of New Phyrexia, just a value card, that's all I've got to say. Silent Arbiter, bit of another shenanigans. No more than one creature can attack each combat, and no more than one creature can block each combat. So if if I've only got the one card swinging through, then I really can get through. So if they don't have an island for my Thada, and they can only block with them, they've got to choose wisely, because I've got a few equipments that I can either attach to it or steal from other people if they've got equipments in their decks. Shimmer Dragon, flying as long as you can control 4 more artifacts. Shimmer Dragon has hexproof. Now I can tap 2 untap artifacts I control and draw a card. So bit of card draw here. Scourge the Fleets, very nice. Sire, the amount of artifacts you're casting, you're just making a small army of Thopters, and I was almost going to base this around him as a sort of a pseudo commander in the deck, but you know, he's a commander in himself, and he works quite well just sitting in the deck like that. Phyrexia Metamorph. Now, copying stuff, and this is where things get a little bit tricky, is there's a couple of cards in here that focus on having lots of the same cards, so, and that's one of the win cons as well, is having a numerous amount of one card. Memnarch, yeah, look, playing artifacts, you're playing blue. I almost put him as the commander, but I wanted something a little bit non-target option, as I'd like to say, is like, yeah, if he's out on the battlefield, he's going to be attacked or destroyed or removed. Yeah, he's pretty feral. Emery, Lurker Lock, also a very good commander. Clever Impersonator, Blightsteel Colossus, because a little bit of Infect is okay, isn't it? Agent of Treachery, nice card again. Also, just the what he can perform when it enters, and then I can copy him as well with some of my stuff. Now, at the beginning of my end step, if I control 3 or more permanents that I don't own, I'll draw 3 cards, and with this deck, that should be all the time, because I should be owning pretty much all the artifacts out of everyone else's decks. Tezzeret the Seeker is my Planeswalker. I get to untap some artifacts, is fantastic. It allows me to have some extra mana sometimes, as well as his other abilities here. Very situational, but very handy. Now, back to basics. Non-basic lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. Considering I'm playing a lot of islands, this plays really, really well. Bit of another shenanigan card and locks some opponents out. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays X for each creature attacking you, where X is the number of basic land types among lands that I can control. So the more islands that I have, harder it is for them to come attack me. Now, mechanized production. So this is this shenanigans card. So enchant artifact you can control. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of an enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. So often I'll go searching for everyone else's Soul Rings, play that because it's cheap. So, you know, by the end of a certain round, I could have 4 or 5 Soul Rings, my own, as well as all my opponents if they're playing one. And then I cast this, and yeah, look, I'm going to get to those 8 Soul Rings pretty damn quick. Mind's Dilation, Propaganda, Mystic Study because I'm playing blue, Spreading Seas, some of that enchanting lands, make them an island, and Thopter Spy Network. So at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, create a Thopter, and whenever one or more artifact creatures I control do damage to a player, I draw a card. So there's a little bit more card draw thrown in. Now, artifacts. We've got 22 artifacts in this deck. So, Cloud Key just makes all of the artifacts cheaper. It does fantastic. Now, Crystal Shard. I can return target creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays 1. It works well, and with the amount of mana that I can probably produce, I guess, yeah, I don't miss it. Artifacts are indestructible. It's just a necessity in an artifact deck. Fellwar Stone, Fire Shrieker. Here's an equipment. Double Strike means I get 2 activations of Thada, which, you know, I can search for 2 rocks out of someone's deck or something else. Ice Scepter because, you know, you're playing blue and you could stick a counter spell on this or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Clark Clan Ironworks. Now, this was a card that I was going to add a few combos with, and like Grinding Station and things like that I've got over the maybe board. In Blasting Station, there's a few janky combos that you can create with Clark Clan Ironworks, but I didn't want to go down that track. Lightning Greaves, Manifold Key, Mind Stone. Yep, that's a nasty card. We'll skip that one. Mir Turbine. So just creating those Mirrors artifact creature tokens, and by tapping 5, tap 5, untap, and I can search my library for a Mir artifact creature card and put that onto the battlefield. So it allows me to go searching for some cards. Now, the main focus was just to put out the artifact creatures, the 1/1s, because by flooding the battlefield with more artifacts, it allows me to do some more other shenanigans and sack them for mana, and hopefully find other things in other people's decks to use it. So I tried to put cards in that can be used together to create little janky combos and things with other people's artifacts. Nev's Disc, Quicksilver Fountain, Soul Ring, Staff of Nin. This can be pretty juicy. Just tap and untap and keep going. Yeah, Stratus Scythe. So when it enters, search your library for a land, a card, exile it, then shuffle your library. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land on the battlefield with the same name as the exile card. You choose Basic Island. Yeah, you've got a big Thada, and it should be unblockable, so you could go ahead and almost hit someone for commander damage. Swiftwood Boots, Thrown Dynamo, Trading Post, Unwinding Clock. Now untap all artifacts you can control during each other player's untap steps. Hopefully you're going to have a massive state of just artifacts on your side, and if you can create opportunities and combos and some janky things going on your side during an opponent's turn, this card does the work. And Worn Power Stone. So that's the deck. It's fun, it's janky, it works, and I love it. Now, this is one of my favourite decks to play if I'm not playing some of my other little ones that I have on the side. Let me know if you like the idea, or if you would add or remove something, because I'm always open to improving my decks and changing them. I do like playing the casual format. And apart from that, guys, thanks for tuning in, watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.